All right, a warm welcome everybody to the opening bell this morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Before we get started, remember the information we discuss in this video is opinion and should not be construed as advice in any way. All right, let's get moving. So guys, what's important about this weekend is we are obviously seeing a lot of movement, within the summit that is taking place, and that has to do with the visit of the U.S., to China. And I think that's a very important one for us to realize here, because obviously that is putting us in a position to know what could possibly happen with the oil concern across the world. And so maybe just some of the things that have been discussed, at the meeting of President Trump and President Xi Jinping. We have now seen that they've chatted about the Iranian war. Trump asked China to help stop the conflict from getting worse. And China reportedly told the U.S. it would not send military equipment to Iran. And both sides agree that the Strait of Hormuz must stay open because much of the world's oil obviously passes through there. Jules, I see you. A very, very good morning to you there. All right. And then obviously, guys, what's also important, the second thing was the Iranian issue. And Trump and Xi agreed that Iran should not obtain any nuclear weapons. There were trade deals being mentioned there as well. And China may buy some of those Boeings there, which is important. American farm products also to be bought. Lebohang, I see you there, Lebs. And then obviously the U.S. energy oil also to be bought by China. There's talks about that. They also discussed improving business access between both countries, which is a very important one for us because obviously we're looking at a lot of movement from the west to the east or the east to the west. Xi Jinping also mentioned China, Taiwan. And warn, that, Taiwan's, or at least Taiwan is one of the very sensitive issues, for China. And the last two things here, maybe just they discuss artificial intelligence, and they also discussed the rare earth minerals. The U.S. wants continued access to the critical minerals used in electronics and technology. And so then with that being said, we're seeing the oil price a little bit this morning here, in a very strange place. We've found a bit of support at the 98 level. Obviously, it is coming after we had the big support happen over here that was in the month of April. And we've managed to push up. So this is a correction that's currently at play. Now, from that correction, all right, if you really look at price from a much higher time frame perspective, we're seeing that there's a bit of a resistance that's built up here. So this could go either way. Actually, the oil price, which is hinging off the meetings and what's happening in the Middle East. This is actually the top side of the oil price right now. And if you look at structure, this is actually a lower high. All right. However, on the flip side, this is a higher low, and this is also a higher low. So what we essentially need now, if price pushes above, obviously, then we have a new higher high that is forming, which gives us a more expensive oil price, all right? And that's important for us to understand. But if price comes down here, then obviously we are then not looking at this as a higher low anymore now. Now we're looking at that as a bearish sign of momentum to continue to the downside. And we can also see the divergence that's happening, at the top. You can see a lot of exhaustion in the oil price is actually happening. And on the main chart, we're seeing the uptick. So these two charts is telling us that there is some exhaustion that has happened at the top, but price is now at the 50 side, at the either continuing to the downside or a bounce to the upside. And from what it looks like, it's only stuck. So we need some more movement here. We need some more fundamental pressure to happen, so that we can see where the price continues the descent or starts to tick up for the higher high. Either way, as traders, we look for both opportunities, but at least from a direction perspective, we want to understand. And then on the other side, we're seeing the dollar strengthen a little bit here now this morning. We're seeing against the euro, you can see it's really now gone below the 1.16513. Sam, I see you there. Good morning. So we're seeing that happen this morning here. The gold price also really coming down here today. We're at the 4572 zone. You guys can check it on the intraday levels. It's really broken down here significantly. And what price has not done, it has not continued to the upside. So that's an important one over there, okay? It's not gone to the upside. There hasn't been any movement here that suggests that we're going to push up. Now you can see it failed every time we tried to go. And I think the year 4507 is where we're going to there. When you look at the US 30, we're seeing a lot of, downside here as well. Even from an intraday perspective, the hourly frame is showing us that there is some more, at least attentiveness from the seller side. It's only the minute frames that's showing us a bit of a possible movement to the upside, but that could be just short term. We're seeing some strength come in there versus this area over here. But again, guys, let's give some time for the London session to run just to see what's happening. All right. At this point in time, we're seeing a support build up here. The first area here, if I can just point this out to the guys that's looking at the US 30, this is a support right there. We obviously broke the support on the main chart. Now, this is where we have to pay attention, all right? This area here, if we push to the upside, get our correction, and then hold. If we can hold at the second support and tick up, then we're going to see a better move to the upside here now, possibly back up to these zones there. All right, and that is something that I just want to point out to the guys. We could be coming back here if it is sustained. Please hear my wording. We failed here because we came down. So another chance is now being pushed. All right, and we're seeing that even in the RSI here, if you're using that RSI, you can use stochastic. Look, guys, indicators are obviously preferential at this point in time. You don't need to use them, but they do help in certain instances, especially when you're looking at intraday movements. So here we have another support that is now formed. So if we can just get an uptick, one high, and a hold here, somewhere right here, and we ascend again, the moment we push up from there, then we could be pushing up back to that area. So watch that very carefully. That could come later on in the day. We are now in the Asian session. The London session has started. So we're going to see how the overlap does between the two trading sessions. There's the Asian, there's the London, and the overlap has started here. So let's see how it pulls through after a couple of candles has formed in the overlap, and if we break and give us a high in the London session. All right, and also the overall atmosphere really at this point in time is that the meeting was described as a little bit more friendly and relaxed than Trump's 2017 China visit. And so both sides seem focused on reducing the tensions, guys, and stabilizing the global economy. I see Sammy there. Please, can you check for me the crude oil, because I played buy since yesterday 2 o'clock in the 4-hour time frame. Not a problem. Let's have a look quickly. So let's look at that 4-hour real quick and see what's happening there. All right. Now remember, we are in a state of consolidation at this point in time. All right. So that's the most recent swing high and swing low. So at this point where we are and what we're dealing with, we are actually dealing now with this over here. That's the structure we are dealing with. Okay. Now, what price will do, all right, in this specific instance here, if I can point that out. Sammy, let me know if you can see, if you are there. All right. Just put it in the chat facility. Quickly, just say there you can see it, or just give me a thumbs up there, so I can see at least. It's always tough if you're always trying to do a little bit of a report on live stream if the guys don't respond. But for your sake and for what you're doing, let's try to assist. All right. So what price will do then? It's either we're pushing up back to 113 or we coming back down to these previous lows over there. That's what we're looking at. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Thank you for that. All right, that's brilliant. All right. So what we then are going to do is, now that we understand this is the structure that we're dealing with, all right? So let me just show you. That's the structure that we're dealing with. All right, that's the structure that we're dealing with at this point. Let me try and make it as specific as possible. All right, so that's the structure. Now, pay attention to these areas over here. Pay attention to this here now, all right? Because from here, we have a support that is formed. This is a second support that is formed. We're talking daily frame now, okay? You went to the 4-hour. So there's the first support, there's the second support. Now, it's either this support holds or it comes through. If it holds and we push above that area and create a new high, it's obvious that, there seems to be more uptick to the upside. So let's go and look for some divergence at that zone. Is there buyers coming in? So remember, you can use various indicators for that. I like to use the RSI because it's easy to see, versus other indicators at times. It's a challenge, all right? And so let's quickly go and see. I'm going to go to the 4-hour quickly. Now let's see if there's any divergence in that zone over there. So you can clearly see that price, that support is there, and the strength is still there. All right, the strength is still there. Even when you look at the RSI parameters, the continuation has given us, and I'm going to show you now, the continuation has given us a break to the upside. Hold on, let's see if I can just get it here for you. 57, 58. So 58, the close at 58. So this was the break. Now, please pay attention to this now. All right. Please pay attention to this now. If price breaks above this 106, because the support is holding at this point, it's holding at this point. Now, if it breaks above the zone here, there's a higher probability that the support is strong enough for us to continue the move to the upside. All right. So 106.107. Now, anything can happen from here until there. All right. So that zone there, we have to break the 106. I hope you got that there, Sammy. All right. I hope you got that there. Check it out. That's important information right there. And obviously, if we come down, it's a different story, right? It's a different story. This is where we're at right now. It's at a very, very important place. You can also look at the 1 hour to see and to track that structure, okay? The challenge I'm seeing here, though, with the 1 hour, let's go to the 15-minute. Yeah, look, the 15-minute even, when you're looking at the intraday structures, you're seeing it's a little bit of support there. That's why I'm saying this is a very, very important moment in the oil price for today, at least. We're seeing the downside here. So this is a support, absolutely a support. Look at that. You can see it. So we need it now to follow through. All right, there we go. There we go. Let's see there. Game include a morning. Can you check gold? Current lower time frame. Potential buys. 150 pips profit. All right. Gold. Current lower time frame. All right. So let's quickly go to the gold there very quickly. All right, guys. We enjoy doing this. Really do. Obviously, it's the opening bell, so we're not going to go into too much detail in terms of spending the entire hour. Opening bells is just to inform, but we don't mind at times to really give some more value. It's Friday, so let's try and push through nicely. All right, so gold right now, all right, potential buys. I can see where your profit is coming from if you are 150 pips up, okay? But just be careful. All right, just be careful there. All right, is it Gawin? Just let me know. Is it Gavin or Gawin? All right, hopefully I got it right there. Forgive me if I don't. All right, so I'll just say Kluter there. All right, I say Kluter 4532 so that I don't make the mistake. All right, so you got a buy signal there. I can see where your signal is coming from. This wick over there, and if I go to the 4 hour, I can see it. All right, you say you're about 150 pips up. All right, so there, yeah, that makes sense where you at, okay? Now, what price is doing here, it's moving away. Remember, dealing with the intraday levels here. So look at the price. It's moving away from the swing high. It's moving away. So if we get a buy, all right, if we get a buy, don't forget we're dealing with a structure here to the downside. So if I go to the 4-hour, you can see the structure. So let me show the structure in the 4-hour. It's right. Can you see here? That's the structure that we're dealing with. All right. Now, what I have not done is I have not altered the equidistant channel because I want to use the actual measurements of how it comes across standard. Why? Because the standard measurement between that side of the channel and this side of the channel is very accurate when it comes to looking for. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. All right, so just to loop back, this here is a very accurate measurement of the channel width, or width of the candlesticks. So I've not altered it because I want the actual market structure in there. And you can see the rejection, but it's not touched it. So that's what I'm saying. Be careful on that one because this might be a short-lived one. So your signal could be possible if you're looking at it from an hour down. Okay, an hour down, that 300, 400 pips. We could be it could be a little bit ambitious because the structure is down at this point in time, and we see the stronger dollar today. But nonetheless, if we do push to the upside, let me just give you something here. Let's go and look for that divergence, okay? So you can see the hour is not giving us any divergence. So what's happening at the bottom here now? A support is forming, all right? A support is forming at this point in time. But it's not enough for us to push up completely. And when I say completely, I'm saying up to this area. I mean, that's 900 points. That's very ambitious right now, okay? That's one support area. If you go to the 15-minute, you can see it's one support area. Now, what did price do here? That's the strength of the dollar that came through today. Support was formed there, all right? Many guys went in for a buy. They did, absolutely. And price failed. So there's a reset that's taken place here. So you in this reset, that's support one now, all right? So what needs to happen is price needs to come up, all right? Then it needs to form a higher low. And then that higher low is the second support. So support one, support two, and then I will agree with you. All right, then I will agree with you. So that we'll be checking out on the minute frames for that. All right, that's important. Before that, it doesn't have the character or the traits of pushing up immediately because there's no divergence even on the 15. Only when you drop down, let's see if it's down on the much smaller time frames. Yeah, you're seeing the divergence is only starting on the 5 and the 6 minute. You see, so we need that divergence to start playing through to the 10, 12, and 15-minute frames as well, and then it will work very nicely. Okay, so just be careful there. Be cautious. If you're up in profits, well done. If you're going to get out before, well done. But if you're looking to extend higher, just be careful. All right, just be careful. That's good. That's beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So guys, and if you're here for the first time, you can open up an account with us, www.tdmarkets.com. If you're already a TD family member, care@tdmarkets.com. Don't forget, guys, we have our education that's running every day. You're more than welcome to join. Just make sure that you open that account with us. It's obviously the T's and C's that go hand in hand with you attending. And obviously fund your account, guys, because remember, if you get to our intermediate and advanced, lessons and you want to, place a trade, you are more than welcome to do that because we're so practical. We demonstrate, and there's many students that actually want to join in the demonstration. Why? Because they want to get into understanding how it feels to get into the market. All right. So we encourage that. Obviously, we do not give advice. All right, traders. We can't tell you do this, do that. That's why the education is there so that you can learn for yourself and you'll understand why we trade, or at least go for those entries. And remember, it's not about strategy here to give a strategy. It's about understanding the financial markets. So we give, the holistic, the macro understanding, and then we dwell into the micro as well of the financial markets. We're not just teaching a strategy here. It's very, very different. So make sure that you get in. All right, that's very, 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 very in. Yes, you can. I mean, just reach out to our support team at care at tdmarkets.com. We have some EA sessions that we do run, and you can definitely get into some of that as well. All right, they will pass your specific comment through to the relevant individuals that can assist you. All right. But guys, it's Friday. Please watch the breaking news. Watch the breaking news this weekend of anything that happens with Trump, with President Xi Jinping, and obviously we'll see you guys next week. All right, for some more updates on the market. This is Ashley Reeve this morning with the opening bell. Have a fantastic weekend. All right, what a blessing, what a pleasure being with you guys as always. Have a good one. Ciao, ciao.